Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My name is Yahya. I feel happy Ramadan is here because it's a time when we think about Allah. It's a time when we actually focus most of our activities around a particular act of worship throughout the day rather than, try to squeeze in worship during the day. I prepare for Ramadan mostly mentally and spiritually. Mentally, I start to think about things that I can do in Ramadan to make myself better. Try to see what are the things that are wrong with me that I can leave in the month of Ramadan, inshallah. I think one of the most important benefits that people get from Ramadan is the fact that you start to think about Allah more often than during other times, and you just don't think about Him in a particular way. There's a progression of how you think about Him, and you can actually see the evolution of thought as you progress through Ramadan until you hit Eid, and all of a sudden there's this huge culmination of your thinking, and it's a really amazing experience of how you come closer to Allah by actually a non-action, which fasting really is. You straying away from eating, so it's non-action. For some people, they say fasting is hard. It can be hard because you're actually giving up something that you like, because everyone likes to eat, and you're actually giving up something, and eating is part of survival, and you're denying your body something that's part of its survival. So it is hard, but that's what coming closer to someone is, because when you love someone, part of love is to make a sacrifice for that person, is to give something up for that person. Part of loving Allah is to give up something that you love for yourself for Allah, and that prioritizes your love for Allah. So it can be hard, but the love can be sweet, so it kind of balances out. And actually it more than balances out. Usually non-Muslims, they think fasting is about giving up food, or they think fasting is about empathy with the people who don't have, like people who are poor. Well, if you're fasting, you do feel hungry, and you can empathize with people who are poor and who don't have food. But I would say that fasting is mostly about keeping in mind who your Creator is, that there's someone who's watching your actions when no one else is watching them, and it's about not only staying away from food, but staying away from other desires in action and in thought. So fasting is more than just feeling hunger. It's actually about remembering Allah, keeping Him in your mind, and keeping Him in remembrance throughout the entire day, not just in terms of praying, but also in terms of a physical manifestation of that remembrance. Because every time you feel a pang in your stomach, you can't grab for food because Allah is looking at you, Allah is watching you. And every time you feel thirst, you just don't grab water because you feel that the presence of Allah is there. And that can be applied for anything else, that you have a thought in your mind, you remember that Allah is there, and that He's knower of all thoughts. There's a lot of good stuff that happens to Ramadan, and I guess the best part of Ramadan is probably the iftar, because during the iftar there's a sweetness that you feel. It's like the whole day you struggled, and then there's a point when you feel that it's the mercy of Allah that He has provided you food, and it's like the culmination of all your struggles, and you see it in front of you. It's just something amazing. It's like a journey towards Allah where you struggle really hard, and all of a sudden there's a sweetness at the end. So iftar is definitely one of the best parts of the fast. My favorite food in Ramadan is anything sweet, so that includes dates, chocolate, anything that's sweet. I just like it. And about Ramadan, the thing that I probably like the most is when you go for Taraweeh at the end of the day, and you see so many people there, and the jama'ah is really big, and you stand up in prayer, and you hear the Qur'an, and you just feel that you're part of a huge ummah, and you hear the Qur'an recited beautifully, and you can understand the meaning of it, and it really affects you, because it's a really awesome experience that you don't really feel outside of Ramadan, because it doesn't happen outside Ramadan. I guess that's about it, my little intro to Ramadan. Alright, Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
For comments and ideas, email us at allears@livinghalal.com.
This has been a presentation of livinghalal.com. All rights reserved.